Mr. Chaba, I want to bring the point of startups also for the reason that the government has set aside a budgetary outlay of more than 25,000 crores for production-linked incentive schemes for the automobile industry, primarily to create jobs, for job growth, for supply chains, and also how you were talking about startups helping with the whole process of now EVs, for example, and at a time when it is growing at such a fast pace. How are you incorporating startups and helping with job creation?
This is one topic where I can take hours and hours, but I'll keep it short. So much before we launched our first car, MG Hector, which is a connected car, we started working with startups, with Startup India and with TAI. We wanted to make sure that technology innovation becomes one of our #1 pillar for the brand, for the MG brand. So far we have worked with almost 800 startups in the last 6 years. We have mentored and hand-holded 46 of them. A few of them have gone ahead to raise lots of funds now. In fact, 3 days back we launched our MG Development and Program, Grant and Development Program with Startup India in IIT Delhi. The good part is now that when you work with the startups, some of these youngsters also work as reverse mentors for your employees. And also you get to know what's happening. So it's not only on the product side, but on the manufacturing processes side, the people side. In fact, some of the chatbots we got through these startups, which we're using in our call center now. So a whole lot of stuff is happening. So this is again our strength of the country, because lots of guys are coming in this area. Also, important thing is that how do you nurture the talent within the universities, to make sure that they go more towards entrepreneurship and startup rather than, like in my generation, doing jobs. And they're also, like, we have tied up with many companies now, with many universities now. We have, in fact, tied up with almost 30 colleges. And very simple thing, if somebody's in the auto probably can use this, we have to scrap lots of tested cars, right? Because you can't bring those cars on the road. So what we are saying is, where do you scrap the cars? Make it a little bit better. They cannot be driven, but you give it to engineering colleges, diploma colleges, ITIs. So the latest EVs, what we are producing, ZS EV, which is not a cheap car, it's 26 lakhs of rupees. It has got the world's latest technology. I would like to claim is the best EV on the road right now in that price band. I mean, we are giving it to colleges, to diploma colleges, ITIs, so that they can do reverse engineering, they can learn, and they can accelerate their thing. So lots of such stuff is happening now. Also, on EV side, the biggest potential remains that India-specific solutions, and which we can export also to likewise countries. Also, one important thing, that the kind of new jobs which are getting generated in EV, which may be interesting. So we didn't know how to provide charging solutions, charging infrastructure solutions to residents, because in India all kinds of things are there. You are in a condominium, you have RWAs, you are parking the cars on the road, so you need different kind of charging solutions. So we have encouraged startups for the last mile connectivity on charging. They are employing some retired guys from distribution companies. They are employing electricians. Now, I mean, normally you will not relate them to auto industry, but that's the kind of a new way of employment. So now we are trying to support a lot of young guys who should be electricians to help EV solutions. So that's the kind of a thing is happening, which is pretty interesting. So it's all thanks to nurturing of students in colleges, startups, and these kind of new startups which we are supporting in this new EV era.
I want to talk to you more about EVs, and that is not something Mr. Badi is very gung-ho about. But then again, when we are talking about Make in India, I know. Then again, when we are talking about Make in India and the ease of doing business and the intent of the government, like we were saying, because we also understand that today the Indian automobile industry stands at 7.8 lakh crores. Exports, like you mentioned, stands at 3.5 lakh crores. And like Nitin Gadkari has said, that the dream really in the larger plan is to make it an industry of 15 lakh crores, boosting exports by many, many levels. Are we really around that time or working in that pace to achieve that target?
Yeah, I think, Sushma, 3 or 4 things are happening there. I think, number one, we are very under-penetrated when it comes to automotive sector in India. Maybe in many areas with comparable countries, we are 1 by 10th, fraction. So that's a good news in a way, because we are nowhere near saturation. So that's the first piece. The second piece is that government is supporting with the PLI scheme. Now that's a very interesting element. This is a big one, which actually is going quite unnoticed. And this PLI scheme is not to do more of the same. This PLI scheme is to bring in new technologies, because PLI is applicable only to new technologies. So with PLI schemes, a lot of anchor investors are going to come into India. You will see the who's who of the world when it comes to automotive sector, both at component level manufacturing as well as vehicle level manufacturing are already here, but more are going to come in. So I think that's the second thing. The third piece is that things like hydrogen fuel cells are going to be built here. Government has started a hydrogen mission. We are part of it. And I think there's a huge amount of consultation going on. I think that's going to be a big opportunity again. So I believe there are 3 or 4 pathways when it comes to electric vehicles, or to say alternate fuels. One is electric vehicles with batteries. Other one is with using hydrogen fuel cells, or you could be using hydrogen as a fuel on the same IC engine, or you could be using biofuels using the same IC engine. So there are many opportunities, different pathways. I believe the 2-wheelers and the 3-wheelers will go very quickly. The battery route, the lithium-ion battery, for long-haul transport, for trucks and heavy duty, it will be hydrogen with a combination of batteries to some extent. And also there will be biofuels which are non-fossil in nature, which will be used. So to my mind, number of opportunities, and we are all working very closely with the government, whether it is the vehicle scrappage policy. I think the mission of the government, or the vision to become net zero by 2070 is a very big statement in itself. Now it's quite an unwieldy thing to really decode how net zero will happen. So I think that's something very interesting, and I think government and all the actors in this game are all pretty much aligned, and I think we can see a direction going forward.
And yes, please.
If I can just add on to this export part and the job creation part. See, there's a statistics which says that if you produce 1 car in the country, it creates around 14 jobs, direct and indirect, right? So that's why it's almost 40 million people are employed in the auto industry. And if you look at the export of components, like, there are lots of good Indian companies exporting to even Teslas of this world, right? So, and then you have IT companies, all the top 5 IT companies, they are providing IT solutions to, I think, everybody in the world. So we have established certain things. So now you need to look at what are the future trends globally, and how do you take, in terms of exports, how are you in the forefront of those areas which are exportable. So from my perspective, connected car, autonomous, and an EV is the future, where like all the multinationals are spending their money right now. So from India side, I feel very strongly that, like India needs a specific solution of the battery, considering the thermal situation and stuff like that, and also like, the recycling of battery, and we are, and the whole life cycle management of battery. If a battery in a world can work for 10 years, we Indians probably would like to work it for 16 years, 20 years, because we recycle everything. You remember, you may not remember, some of the guys remember that we used to keep shopping bags under the mattress. We sell old newspaper, we sell old beer bottles. This whole recycling, we don't throw away anything till it gets wasted. So like a battery, can we extend the life of the battery? Because then you come to the questions of raw minerals are not available and blah, 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 energy security. So the whole solution by Indians on longevity of the battery life, maybe we can use old batteries in rural electrification, things like that. This idea and this technology can be exported to all emerging markets like Middle East, Africa, Latin America. Because Europe and America will not be working on solution for those countries. We will work for specific solution for India, which can be exported. Likewise, connected car. I would like to dream on this thing. When I was young, I used to talk about, can you give a phone free? And then you will charge for services. And probably it's kind of thing happening. So I'd see a world which India can do, car is free, but you will charge for various services. So car will be used as a platform, and then you say, okay, if you want to drive the car for 1 week, I'll charge this much, and insurance this much, resale price this much. And if you want to use the data, which already we are doing in MG, that some data is free, and high-end data for the high-end services for streaming music and everything, you have to pay extra. So actually there can be various charges, and so this solution will be great for Indian consumers, which are value-conscious customers, and this can be exported, this whole technology. So this connected car, because we are strong on IT anyway, so if we use it in this auto and make it auto tech, that is a huge potential.
And especially if